Have you ever wanted to listen to the angelic chorus of JackJack 1620's voice, or maybe the monotonous robo voice of a Jay Titan? Well, I've got the podcast for you. Welcome to the After Raid Hours. It's your hosts, JackJack 1620 and Jay Titan.
What's up, guys?
How's it going? It's been a hot minute.
Yes, it's been a minute. There's been a lot of Pokemon playing in person, not in person, all that good stuff. So
Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things have happened since. I think the last episode has started. Niantic decided to do the bonehead play of let's revert the game to a worse state than it was before the pandemic.
yes,
So they gave us all these quality of life changes, and we had talked about over the course of the podcast and playing like, hey, maybe we should just keep these changes, and then any events you have thereafter make it even better. They didn't want to do that, so they reverted back to OG Pokemon Go esque.
Not even.
But what we found in our playtesting and everything is it's worse than it was.
Okay.
The distance feels like I would say like 75% of what it was.
If that,
because
that's where it was good to have our community day.
Yeah.
So I forgot what was the community day for? Eevee. So we were out there for Saturday, which was dope, and thank you everyone who came out.
Yo, shouts to
Fluffy D,
our community. It was Gary, good. It was good seeing people.
Yes.
Honestly, at first it was just me and you out there. It was maybe like one or two people.
Too. We were just hanging out. And
I was like, I don't think we're gonna see more than 5 people playing, and then they came, and then they came, and then they came. So and so it was refreshing to be out there. It was fun. I got a ton of shinies at the bench.
You asshole. And then you were just and then you were talking magic with Banani.
Oh my gosh.
For an hour or something.
Banani came and she was explaining how much she loves magic. And I was like, oh.
We got a little bit of blur.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Whoa!
Is it
maybe there's an autofocus issue.
Intriguing.
Let me.
Okay.
Yeah, apologies for technical difficulties. Jack's just too sexy for the camera. Decided, kind of like OnlyFans is trying to ban the pornographic content that after 8 hours.
I don't understand how they're gonna cut out the main moneymaker for their site.
It's so that they can get better funding for those same people. Doesn't make sense to me, but we're not.
It's just basically Tumblr 2021. Yeah.
So let's combine OnlyFans with Pokemon Go. Anyway, point is, didn't we talk about that? A Pokemon Go.
I think you and Steve. I can see you guys having a side conversation about that. But no, in the realm of just Pokemon Go, going back to community days.
Okay, so there was a good amount of people out there. I was really excited about. Okay.
Yes, you and Banani were being nerds.
Yeah, me and Banani were the whole fucking time. So I'm a new player in Niantic, as you can see. There's an entire shelf of magic cards to the right over here. So we just got lost in it. We were literally talking for an hour, casually catching EVs. I still caught 3 shinies during that conversation lost in the sauce. But anyway, had a good time. It was good seeing people. It was good being able to interact with people that I hadn't seen in a hot minute. Even I see the names on Discord. I see the names on my friends list where it's like, I should probably open that gift, but I won't, just to piss Jack off. And then that's about how it goes. Anyway, I see the names and I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool to see that person. And then I did. Yes. So Community Day was interesting because, like I said, I wasn't sure how many people were going to be there. First of all, still very much in a world where COVID's a problem.
Because it still exists.
Yeah. There's a Delta variant. There's the Alpha, Omega. I don't know.
Delta. There's Lambda.
Lambda is the new one. Yeah. Anyway,
no, Lambda has been around for a month. It's just in a smaller set. Newer. There's just.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not trying to collect any of them, let alone.
That's the only thing I don't want to catch.
Yeah. So.
But you can catch his hands.
Point is it's still an issue. Oh, that's right. Only hands. That's what we're talking about. Anyway, still an issue. So I wasn't sure.
Okay.
How many people would be out there for that? And then on top of that, compounded when we're talking about with Niantic making their changes back to old style Pokemon Go, which they were like, we want people to get out. The whole point of Pokemon Go is to be social. It's
we were already
we can
out.
be social and be out at a distance. It's fine. It's working.
Wait,
it's been working.
Didn't GoFest show that people were still out playing?
Not even just GoFest, but just in general. I mean, I feel like it's not like if they looked at their profit margins, it's not like Niantic didn't make money.
Right. Well, and I guess that's where I was hoping maybe, and again, it's just me wanting, like, for the research side of me, that if they felt there was a loss of people walking, to showcase that in some way. Like, look, over the pandemic, people aren't walking as much. We noticed a loss of this many miles per day or per week.
Yeah.
But none of that data was ever shown. Like, to me, that would have been something to maybe justify going back to, like,
So
hey, we don't want you...
concrete evidence to justify their change back to whatever.
Just some sort of empirical evidence to be like, hey, here's the reason why. Because even though they said they changed it back to what it was prior to COVID, it doesn't feel that way. Like, talking to a bunch of people there, again, small case study.
Yeah.
People were like, it's still hard to reach gyms. Like, I can't just stand across the street and hit a gym that's across the street from me. I have to walk over to it, which I didn't have to do before. Like, I'm already walking, but again, it's just like that extra measure of like, okay, now I have to go onto their property.
Well, that
was an issue.
Yeah, which was an issue to begin with. That and like, we had I know you had that conversation during Pokemon Go Community Day, in which like some of those gyms, like, okay, we're in a residential neighborhood. There's a gym there. Okay, I have to cross the street. It's not as much of an issue for me.
Right.
But like, okay, that gym's on the other side of Parker Road, and that's 8 lanes of traffic I have to go across to get to that gym. Okay, so
that's dangerous.
I have to wait or whatever. But then like that, I'm completely detoured, and I'm not trying to explore that part of my city. I'm literally just trying to hit the gym so I can either get the raid in, because I saw, there's 10 people in that raid right now. And I have 70 seconds to cross the one of the busiest roads in this area. It's not happening. Yeah. So I miss out on the raid. I miss out on being able to be social and raid that Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then like, so like that's already like dangerous. So like the whole distance to gyms and stops is ridiculous.
And especially because, again, the variants are still very much rampant. So it's very much like, why would you take away the element that gave us the ability to be socially distant? And again, 6 foot is not that much distance, but like, why would you take that away when it was made the accessibility just easier for everyone to utilize stuff instead of having to be right by? Like, now I can't go park at that area and hit all the gyms in the vicinity. Like, I have to walk, and I feel like sometimes it looks really odd because I'll be like just hovering by a park
where kids
instead
are playing.
Of just like chilling in my car, reading a book, charging my phone, and still being able to play, and at a good distance where to the parents. Because again, I try to be very conscientious of that when I'm playing, of like, am I just looking like a fucking creep? But again, that's also where like I make sure I'm wearing super vibrant clothing and stuff. And it's just one of those internal things I keep in mind, just like what happened with all the protests and stuff of last year, of like making sure that when I'm in an area that people aren't familiar with me, that I'm standing out to where they're like, I'm not just some like strange like specter in the distance. Like, they're like, oh, that fucker is wearing some bright ass pink bandana. He stands the fuck out.
Well, that makes you the most dangerous, by the way.
I know. But it's one of those things to where it's like, I have to take those extra precautions when I'm out.
Yeah.
And now I have to be out even longer, which takes more time than I want to spend playing the game. But also, I know it's a personal choice to be out there that much.
Yeah,
it just sucks because I can't hit as much as I used to. So my gift numbers have declined significantly because I can't, like, I'm not going to take the extra time because now my ability to reach stops is kept by 3/4.
Yeah.
Basically.
And like, that's, that was where I was kind of getting at earlier, where like with the improvements to the game, arguably, that they made because of the pandemic, with the improvements to the game, I was like warning. I was like, we're going to get used to this. We're going to get used to the distance and everything like that. And I feel like the game was enjoyable. It was very much enjoyable, even in those dire circumstances.
It was.
But like even more so is like when we did go out, when we started like being able to come out of our shell a little bit and go out, like, getting vaccinated,
you're like, hello?
Like, feel okay to get out into the world. That distance change was very nice. Or,
fuck yes.
Just the overall gameplay improvement. So the game just felt better in general. Like
in general.
Like Niantic has a lot to work with their game code anyway. It's still broken in a lot of ways, but that was one thing where I'm just like, okay, this is awesome. It feels at least a little bit better to play.
Especially with things like dead spots in areas.
Yeah.
It's great that you didn't have to physically be on the fucking thing because sometimes it's just dead for you. Like at Meadowood Park.
Yeah.
Being in that little roundabout thing, half the people I know don't have reception there.
No, I don't.
So when there were raids, that was one area we always had to avoid the raid. But now, before they reverted, you're able to just be like on the access point, and I can
as long as I'm somewhere in that area,
I'm in the road and hit it, which means I could park there. Which means I'm now no longer taking up spots in the parking space for people who are at the rec center or at the park.
True.
I could just be on the side of the road and then I'm in and I'm out. To me, I thought that shit was awesome.
I'm in and I'm out.
Dope.
I'm in.
But it's one of those things
where
now
you literally have to be in it. Like the gym has to be in your butthole
in
order for you to be in that raid.
And that was a comment that Fluffy D and them made, was the fact like you have to be on it. So if your phone is one of those phones that experiences drift, sometimes you have to go even further now. You can't just access it. And
it's like I'm in the canal trying to get...
and like Miss Moore, for example, she brought up Raytheon. So there's certain areas that don't want people on their fucking property, but there's fucking gyms there.
Yep.
And people are... Before, with the distance, is dope because you could just be out, you grab it, and you go. You can still do whatever you want. You can interact with the gym and do what you wanted to, but you don't have to linger on the property to the point where security is like, hey, back up. And I know like Niantic gives like the whole warning thing about like watch your surroundings and everything. That's cool. In those circumstances, like it sucks that they took that away because now those gyms that were once accessible are now just like wiped because you don't want to run that risk.
Yeah, well, and like my biggest issue is they reverted it on the premise, like I said, that the game you need to be social to play Pokemon Go or whatever. It's like even with those distance changes, it wasn't like, I'm at the same raid with Jack. I'm just 6 feet away from him or 12 feet away from him, and I can be in the same raid. Now I have to be on top of you. I have to be on your shoulders.
Right.
We have to like reach my phone up,
just in hopes. If they want us to be more social, bring in messaging into the game. Let us do shit with our best friends from any distance. Let us be able to trade at any distance.
Yeah, let me world trade.
If you're worried about the social element. Now, if you're worried about the physical element, all you have to do is make things and put the requirements on things, so now you have to walk and do this.
Yeah.
If that's the case. Or you need to hit set amount of stops. To me, that's what will get people physically active. Like right now, some of the missions for the Ultra Unlock 3 is you have to fight several rockets. So you can either wait and linger on the balloon to come every 3 to 6 hours, whatever the time frame is now.
20 hours.
But even then, like the gyms itself, I don't see really circulating the rockets like they used to.
No, they don't.
And I'm just like, you sons of bitches. Like, you have this, and to me, at least just make it close. But like, I've been watching the gyms near my house, or at least the stops.
Yeah.
And they're not turning to rocket stops like that as much as they used to prior to the event. So I'm just like, here we go again. Like, but again, I understand that I don't have to participate in this event. Again, it's all choice. It just sucks that some of your options within the game are just that kind of, they're starting to feel a little bit more shoddy.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, it's just like, well, we're just going to revert it for X, Y, Z purposes. I don't know if it has to do with investors that are like, well, you promised the game would be more social, or like have people up and out and doing more things, like buying more phones or new phones because they need the most up-to-date devices.
One thing I kind of wish they would have done is just team up with other entities like Fitbit.
Well,
like if they're worried about people getting fit, like have that tracked more or some shit. Like,
well,
I don't know.
And this all comes back to one major point, which is we saw in the Pokemon Go community all the way up from Brandon 10, who's like one of the most infamous players / famous players of all time.
Okay.
He has literally, I think it's like 4.5 billion experience. Billion with a B.
Sweet Jeebus.
Experience, because he plays in Taiwan.
Okay.
And he's got like 6 stops in the gym in his apartment.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, point is like you saw all the way from him all the way down to our wonderful Pokemon Go Colorado. You saw it on their Twitter. You saw they've been posting it everywhere. And essentially, it's just like Niantic just isn't listening or talking to the players.
The way they
like
could.
There's absolutely like. You have a golden opportunity. People love this game.
Yeah.
People do love Pokemon Go.
We've been here since 2016.
And And even that's been a while. It's like 5+ years.
I think that's lasted longer than most of my relationships.
Oh, absolutely. But even then, like, so people love this game, and people want the game to be good, and people want to keep loving and playing the game. You have a golden opportunity to be one of the few developers that keeps everything kind of transparent, to talk to the people that love your game, and you choose not to. You just shit in their mouths. Like, so what happens is essentially, Brandon Tan, like I said, he went from he spends probably thousands of dollars a month on, like, incubators and stuff, because he's like, at all times he has all eggs in incubators, and he's like walking, and like I said, he's the one with 4.5 billion experience.
Yeah, that dude.
Whatever. He went from that, and he's now advocating for only play free. Don't spend any money in Pokemon Go at all.
Like, obviously there's going to be things, so like talking with some of the players at Community Day, players like Miss Moore, for example, are like, well, I want to get this because I want these EVs and I want this. I was like, spend money on things that will benefit you for yourself. But like things like, and she spent like the $1 for the Community Day, like
those were kind of fun. Okay.
Some of them aren't bad. Some, if you really need that TM, then fucking do it. Like if that TM is an investment for you to enjoy the game even more, do it.
Yeah.
But certain things, like, I will not. So like right now with the Ultra Unlock, you have what is it? Galarian Farfetch'd.
Yep.
In raids, in 1-star raids. You have Galarian Weezing in 3-star raids.
Yes.
And they took Falinks out because of whatever technical issues. It was like separating. I giggled because I'm like, the Pikachus, when they release that, have all the various hats.
Yeah.
Whenever I see a little screenshots
like
of it in other countries, it is mad. It's just like Picasso'd out. But that's not enough to stop the hatted Pikachus, but it's enough to stop Falinks.
Well, it's because Falinks is their 6th little.
He's a cutie.
I love
just
Falinks.
Like blah, like just out. But it's one of those things where, though they have those raids out. So right now I was getting invites for Weezing, and I'm like, as much as I like the shinies and I quest for shinies, I do not want to spend any more than I have to now. Yeah. Like, I think the last one I did was Heracross, and that's what really started this whole people are mad at the shiny rates thing, which I don't blame them. The shiny rates from raids have always been shitty, and to me, unless it's a legendary Pokemon or it's a Pokemon that I really want, that I am willingly choosing to invest my money into to get, I'm not going to spend much on raid passes to get that Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like right now, like that's why Niantic had to redact the 2-star and the 4-star, because they weren't Pokemon that people wanted. And right now, like, and when they had shiny Kangaskhan potentially or shiny Heracross, like, I must have did 60 something raids on just my main account in hopes of getting a shiny one, and I didn't get it. Am I mad about it? No, because I use those raids to do other mission stuff.
Yeah.
So there's still a benefit I got from it. But for other people, I did 30, I did 40, I did this, and then you have Phil, who's just a fucking monster, and I think he got like 6 of them. But I'm like, at what cost? At what?
Well, yeah, like that's what I was saying. I was like, I'm not doing 60 Heracross or Kangaskhan.
Especially in the hopes that eventually Niantic will bring those Pokemon to a Go Fest. Well, I always keep that in mind.
Yeah, because inevitably what happens is once they're released in raids as a shiny, or once a shiny's in the game, eventually they'll be in the wild, some form or fashion.
Like look at Heatmore and the Durant.
Durant, yeah, I was gonna say, and I know Heracross and Kangaskhan are regional exclusives, and we're not gonna be able to travel to those at least one of those places for a while. But point is like maybe the different strokes for different folks, as you like to say. Yeah. Anyway, I play very differently. I'm hardly going to do 60 legendary raids for shiny. Like my exceptions will be like the four of my favorite Pokemon. That's about it. Like if it's like, okay, I'll go raid Vulpix and Ninetales because it's my favorite, but like I'm not going to go spend that money on those raid passes unless I have
exactly.
To. And right now I definitely don't want to, because again, Niantic's not listening to us. Now they came out with their response was like, oh, we'll have a forum in September about talking to the players, but it's just like
if they would have added to that of like, here's a turnover rate we want to have for said forum, I might take that seriously, but I just think I kind of take it just like with jobs or just any other thing that where people complain and the base, the owners, whoever it is, the main entity wants to showcase that they listen.
Yeah.
Just in theory, they give people the opportunity to vent and do everything like that, and then they're just like, "Oh, cool, thanks for your words. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for supporting our business." And then they proceed to just be like, "Yay!" and just
do whatever they wanted to in the first place.
To you like you wanted.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm just like,
it does feel very empty. And of course, we have to wait and see what happens. But it's like it's one of those things where like, how open is it going to be? Now, I saw, like I said, like Trainer Tips Nick, who's been very upset about the same situations. He's like, "Oh, I got invited to go talk to."
He looked so fucking pissed in that. I was just like,
"Yeah, well, I was
like, damn." I was like, just his head, just to, like the screenshot of that video. I was like, that boy does not look happy.
And for players, like, that's his livelihood, that's his job, that's everything, and he's done very well in the game. I think he's also done a very good job for Niantic to
promoted them. Like,
I used to love watching his videos because like it's like watching a little travel documentary with Pokemon Go flavor, and I would have loved to have been able to do something very similar, which we still can. But either way, point is like, when your most dedicated players are upset and even their voices aren't heard unless they get a specific invite, that's kind of assy. And then like, those end up being like our voice of the people, essentially. It's like, I don't necessarily align with all of Brandon Tan or Trainer Tips Nick's, like, what they want in the
perspectives or paradigms.
Right. But, like, if that's the only step we have, that kind of sucks. Like, I just don't get it. Like I said, Niantic has a very golden opportunity to be as transparent and talk to us as much as possible. Absolutely not happening.
I know that was something I was like at the community day, like some of us were talking. I was like, I wish they would just do like an in-game survey and just be like, how has this been?
Something as basic as that.
Yeah. Something as basic as that. Because again, they did that before. And again, that's where I always talk about the trials. So back when we got Rhyhorn Community Day, that whole thing of doing the missions and doing this and putting in your vote, that's a way of communicating.
Yeah, I thought we were just going to vote on everything for the future.
That's what I was thinking for. I was get people understanding that votes matter, because they do. Again, with people who are asking for
stapling it to just one social media platform is not the move. Don't.
I fucking hated when it was like, do it on Twitter. I'm like,
I don't on Twitter.
I am not gonna get on fucking Twitter.
As a person who avidly lurks on Twitter and had the opportunity to vote, that's all. I don't post on my Twitter. I literally have it.
I'm a TikTok lurk then.
For like, that is true.
I'm just on.
And I'm surprised Niantic hasn't gotten in on TikTok. But anyway, point is. Actually, hold up. Not Niantic. If you need some help, I got a man just for you to handle the Niantic TikTok.
Oh my god.
It'd be lit.
Just something like.
But anyway, point is like, don't wall it to one social media when there's multiple, first of all. Secondly,
just use your in-game platform.
Yeah.
You already have it. You don't need someone else to get onto another platform to give a voice when you already give them something that you interact with. But if I can do a financial fucking transaction with you, why can't you hear my feedback? I don't get it.
That is true.
I don't get it.
But I mean, that's, going back to like one of the earlier conversations, and it's a conversation that we always have with like Dotman. Like Zach, like the game,
our philosophical debate,
fundamentally broken. Like, and like, I wonder if it's a coding thing. Like, why haven't they introduced messaging? And I understand that usually the guise is we need to protect the kids, which kids need to be in a safer place. But I feel like there's ways to enact that. Like, if these same kids can go play League of Legends, they can
cuss out kids.
They can talk,
little heathens.
They can talk on Pokemon Go. All the same, and like it's just like it's weird to me, and I wonder why they haven't ever programmed that. It's like the same thing, the voting in game, because like when it comes to like ticketing events, it's like, I'm going to take you to this third-party website.
Even if it was just like, even if it was like trades, like they already have similar templates with like Pokemon, like Sword and Shield or Pokemon Home, where it's like you put in like the GTS, you put in the Pokemon that you want to trade, you put in the request of what you're looking for, and then you just send it out into the world. If you could do that within your own friends list of like, this is what I'm looking for, if you could trade me dope, or put on a more global scale or local regional scale, That'd be helpful. Or again, with best friends, be able to be like, hey, I'm looking for this, and give them the time. Like it sends them an in-game notification, like, hey, JackJack wants to trade with you. He has this, and this ready to trade. This, send what you are looking for to him too, and then you guys could figure it out. So where there's no exchange, or there's no like, meet me at this location in the shady docks. Like there's no exchange of that, to where again you're not hurting people's safety.
Yeah.
If I do value safety, I do understand that. Yeah, kids are impressionable. Kids are this. You don't want some creepy adult, because again, some adults can be creepy even unintentionally.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking to a child, they might not know that's a child. Why? Because that happens too. There's a lot of friend code exchanges, especially now with systems like Poke Genie and things, where people are just getting friend codes to get invited to raids, to do what pseudo spoofers do, and get invited and go to all these raids from the comforts of their home.
That's true.
And to me, that's the other thing that I think is gonna. I forgot who it was. I think it was Mark. And sorry, Mark, I don't know your last name, nor am I gonna out you for it. It's one of those things where the guy Mark, he brought it up of like, I feel they're going to start phasing out remote raid passes and this whole push for being social again, because again, the remote raid passes make it to where you don't have to be with people anymore. So a lot of people, like if you look at like Aurora Masters, for example, why the communications really calmed down from what it was 2 years ago, because again, everyone is remote raiding for the most part. Or again, because there's not much appeal to raiding as much as there used to be.
The only thing I would say is, if they want to stick to their whole rhetoric that the game's about being social and being face to face with people or whatever, that's when they would do it. The issue is they make so much money.
Oh yeah, they make
off of remote raid passes. You can only hold, if you cheat it, 5 or whatever, right, at a time.
Yeah.
But whatever. Point is, you can only hold them, and they're 150 each, 150 coins.
Yeah.
Right. That's
they're 150. No, they're 200 coins per, or 250 per 3, and 100 coins per one.
250 for 3.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been that way since the start, and you're only max allowed 3. You can get 5 if you're
more expensive than regular.
No, they're the same cost, and I'm glad they did that, because again, what sucks for us, like people who were notorious raiding in person, was once COVID hit, and again, a lot of people fell off the different communication chains. I'm sitting on 70
like regular raid passes
that I haven't used. Something,
yeah.
Even with GoFest, and I was just like.
Well, like I said, for some reason I thought remote raid passes were more expensive. Either way, point is like people make a ton of money off of them. Like I pick up the free ones when they throw them in the box every now and then.
Yeah.
And like I only really remote raid. Sometimes I'll get an invite from some of our friends. Like Carla will remote raid with me all the time in Japan, which is fun. But outside of that, I try not to use them because again they're expensive, and now I don't really want to spend that much money on the game. Until they fix some of these issues. But yeah, to your point, so that's why I like going to Mark's comment real quick. I just don't think they're going to remove or phase them out because they're wildly successful. Now, again, it depends. If they want to stick to the whole, you have to be social in-person rhetoric, and you have to now be on top of each other. You have the human centipede if you want to get this raid to work.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. But I feel like it's printing money at this point for them, so they don't want to do that, and that's what it always boils down to.
Oh yeah, and like I had mentioned in the community day stuff, like I was like, Niantic could do a lot to introduce different things to the game. Because the easy thing that would be an easy money maker if they really felt like it would be to do a stat change item.
Oh, like the Carbos,
or anything like that. That'd be the easiest way for them to
drug up your Pokemon so
mad
you
money,
change the IVs.
Because anyone who's been a day one player has that OG Pokemon, that day one homie that they have, that they probably love to change their stats for. So if you gave me that option, like some of those players would probably be spending money to get that done. Granted, it wouldn't be as consistent because once it's done, it's done. But you have a lot of players sitting on limited bag space that would probably like to do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of things they can do to make money, but they need to fix the issues that are in the game.
Yeah, instead of putting a Band-Aid on it.
Eventually,
like our current Band-Aid right now is like, hey, there's Galar Pokemon.
That shit pissed me off. That's a whole
now.
different conversation.
You get this dog, and the dog didn't have the sword yet, but you just get a dog with some nice little braids.
Oh yeah, because if you didn't remember, they have two different forms.
Yeah, they have regular, and then once they get the sacred sword, and that's where
so little JayTI7N comes out with like the tentacles or whatever, and they're not tentacles.
They're just a really glorious braid.
Sure,
but it's one of those things where I'm like, that's a Band-Aid.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm just one that actually pisses me off because, like, okay, we have Gen 6 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right. What's the next gen after Gen 6? Gen 8, apparently. Well, I just don't understand. Why all the Alolan hate? I know Alolan Vulpix.
And see what I was thinking about after getting into some Facebook commentary about it too, because others have the same sentiment. It's just because isn't Hoopa about time and distorting time? So maybe they're just like, let's just roll this out there.
Niantic, I don't give a fuck.
Surprise.
You can use Hoopa as your excuse for anything that you add to the game. I understand that. You know what Hoopa would also be great for? With Gen 7 Pokemon is like the little Kartana and like the Ultra Beasts. That's Gen 7. Those are Pokemon.
They still have a lot of Pokemon still.
No, they're gonna skip the 8, and the only reason they're using it as a Band-Aid is because people love dogs. That's it.
People do love dogs.
People love dogs. I love dogs, but like, come on, bro. They're like JayTI7N and Zamazenta.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I love those. It's just like.
Well, and it's just funny because they throw the Band-Aid. You have players who clearly, if they're still playing after 5 years, they're pretty dedicated. But some of them are starting to fall off the bandwagon. Like, I shouldn't even say bandwagon, but just they're losing interest. They're losing interest now because the game dynamics at its core haven't really adjusted.
No, there's nothing fresh in the game. It's
tournaments have kind of come to a slow simply because COVID, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah. But
in-game story, in-game perks, in-game matter, just like they're not.
Well, so the formula is stale at this point. Yeah. Very stale. It's like, when you do a party and you make like really dope queso, right? And then like there's a wonderful bag of tortilla chips that you use for the queso, right?
Tortilla chips.
And then we got drunk and we passed out. And then the next morning that bag of tortilla chips are still open, and you know how rubbery and stale. Which I'm not wasting food, so I'll still eat it, but I don't like it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's Pokemon Go in a nutshell. It's the rubbery, stale tortilla chip.
Stale tortilla chips
that they can fix. Tortillas. That's the problem. It's like
they can get a new bag at any point in time.
You can do so much, and it's funny because it's actually like an extension of the conversation on the Pokemon games on like Switch and then the mainstay RPGs, because like the same formula for 25 years.
They do what works. It's like it works,
25 years. It's just kind of like, oh, come on.
And again, Pokemon players are pretty easily impressed. So like for us, like with Let's Go Pikachu and that, just having the Pokemon on the wild, we're just like,
that was a welcome change.
But again, that didn't take much. Like if you look at every other game in existence, Pokemon is so behind the times.
That is true.
Like,
because getting out of Pokemon Go for a hot second, because ironically, Gen 7 Alola, they tried something different with the whole like island battling instead of the gyms. Like you're there to establish a gym network, but it's not, I'm gonna go beat 8 gym leaders, go to the Elite Four, blah blah blah, same old system. It's different. And then like they went back to it in Sword and Shield because apparently I guess it wasn't as popular in the Alolan region in Sun and Moon. But anyway, it's really interesting because then like you have the games that are coming out this year that Pokemon Company and Nintendo wanted to print money with, which is a remake of the Sinnoh games, which is Diamond and Pearl. So it's like, I think it's like Brilliant Diamond and something Super Pearl, Butt Pearl, whatever. And then so those remakes are coming out, which
I'm thinking like Luminous.
It's something like that. Anyway, I don't know. I love the 4th gen. It was, I think, the one I played the most. Okay. The remakes, I'm just like, whatever. There's things that are in it that look really cool and everything like that. But they announced a different Pokemon game that's also coming out. That's actually technically Sinnoh region. It's like historic Sinnoh region. It's called Hisui region. It's called Pokemon. It's Project Arceus. In which case, it's like this like half-assed attempt at an open world game for Pokemon in the veins of like Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which is one of the greatest open world games of all time. In the same vein as that, and then like you run around and like you can actually like as a trainer you can fight Pokemon, like you can like square up with an Ursa ring if you really want to. I don't recommend it.
No.
But like, and then like the idea is like you're a researcher, you're out there, you're researching this whole new region, and there's a whole new story element to it. Anyway, the point is like there's two conversations with that game. One is it looks terrible because there's like graphically it doesn't look great because Game Freak has never had to push the bounds on making their games look really good. But that's not the one I want to focus on. The other one is this looks very interesting because it's a different formula. It's a different type of Pokemon game.
Yeah.
That's not quite as like campy as Pokemon Unite, which is like League of Legends but with Pokemon.
Okay.
Which does have the costumes that I love, and I want them to do that in Pokemon Go. But anyway, it's not as silly as like Pokemon Cafe Mix or those types of games.
Yes.
Like it's a different formula. It's like how Pokemon Mystery Dungeon was really popular because it's like you're running around as the Pokemon. There's a nice little story there. Like shouts Grovyle, my main man. But anyway, point is like the little changes in formula there are nice, so people latch on to that.
Okay.
It's when you get back into Sword and Shield where everyone's like, oh, this is the same shit over again. Okay, I'm done with it. Pokemon Go suffering from the same thing. It's literally, Band-Aid, dogs. Everyone loves dogs. Put the dogs in. And it's just like, I do love dogs. I'll catch the dogs. Fuck! They got me. And then there's like afterward, it's just like, it's like post-nut clarity where I'm just like, what did I just do?
And see, like
why?
I always think about ways Niantic could just spice it up, just like put a little bit of like oregano or put seasoned salt on something, like something, just give it a little chef's kiss of something good. And again, that's where they could do things like have more competitions between the teams, have special missions where just whatever team you're on, Spark or whoever is like, you need to do this now.
Okay.
That's different from other teammates. Like different from Valor, different from Mystic.
Absolutely.
And they should have certain perks. So like you get to unlock this, you get this.
Bro, if you want me to be social in this game, do that.
Like
team up with 3 other Valor players or other Instinct players.
Add this player to your roster and do this.
As a team, take over this many gyms. Or even better is like force me to be cooperative with other teams. Like, find another Instinct player, do X, Y, and Z.
Do 2 raids together. I'd be like, shit.
And
they have to like have it be like you can't use remote raid passes for this.
No,
I'd be like,
and that's
like shit.
That's using the in-game systems, which I think are archaic at this point. I think like some of these things need to be updated. Like I would love the raid system, the gym system. We've talked about it at length.
Yes.
To be updated, but like there's so many different things they could introduce into the game. Like I said, if they want to go with this weird tried and true narrative of like it's about being social, then put things in the game that make me actually want to be social. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about doing the same raid. I don't give a fuck about going to catch like the new Pokemon, the hot new Pokemon. Like, oh, the Squovets are out. Okay, got it.
Done.
Gotcha.
Same with like Zacian right now. Like Zacian's here. I caught it. I got my lucky of it already, and I'm just like, dope. Now, because people are like, I got to keep doing raids for candy. And I'm like, no, because the shiny variant hasn't even come out yet. Once that comes out, I'll do more because I want the shiny form.
Yeah.
And then after that, once I get it, then if I feel like it again, most of these legendaries just take up bag space. Bag space is a precious commodity, same as Stardust. So why? Like even with all the EVs, I'm just like shit.
No,
what do I do with all these EVs?
I shredded the fuck out of EVs.
I'm just transferring a lot of them to home. Because I was like, I will just throw them all out to people globally because at least in home they can go somewhere.
I was gonna say the irony is you have to transfer them to a different game / platform app to trade them to other people that might use them in other games that can't put them in Pokemon Go.
Right, and again, Niantic, like, when are you gonna do it to where I can transfer shit from other people into my game?
Pokemon Go 2, Pokemon 2 Go. Like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh my god.
I mean, at this point, they almost have to do that.
Well, and again, like that's why I'm hoping Niantic has plans like that in mind. But again, I don't have the comfort of like feeling the confidence thinking that. So because I'm just looking at what's going on in the pattern. Repeat pattern is like you said. They have the same template that's worked for Nintendo.
Yep, the rubbery tortilla.
Give them this, throw them dogs, because everyone loves dogs.
True.
Do a Go Fest, release a legendary, throw a few Pokemon from gens that people don't know about just yet, and skip a few that are like sitting here like I could see Kecleon in a distance. Like, did you forget me? Like, poor little chameleon dude. Like, and there's plenty of other Pokemon that still need shinies released. There's plenty of other cultural, again, stories that cultural aspects of the world that Niantic just is just like,
we don't care. And then like the best part
is
they'll be like COVID or
we had the postponement of the Corsola and another shirted costume Pikachu, and they're like, we're postponing this.
Cool.
Due to COVID. I'm like, cool.
Which I'm cool.
What was the meaning behind this event? Like, it's just to release a shiny Corsola for a moment, and then it's going to get people hyped again. Another money grab for them.
Well, it's like I said, like the what we're getting from Niantic is very muddy, right? Because it's like on one hand, like again, we're very much a proponent of be safe out there, social distancing, get vaccinated, all the other things. Like with whatchamacallit, with that, it's like, okay, we're going to cancel this because of COVID, but we want people to be social again and be like as close as possible. So we're reverting back to pre-COVID. So it's just like mixed signals, maybe. I don't know. It's just like, it's so frustrating.
I kind of want to just, if I pay for anything, I want to be like a good story mission, like how it was for getting to level 50. I think those missions were dope, and it actually was challenging.
Like a nice challenge.
I want to play.
Sure. Yeah.
But give me some guaranteed things. Like, as I was driving today, it's kind of like serendipitous. I was thinking about fucking shiny Farfetch. I was like, man, I really don't want to use the fucking raid passes for this fuck. One of the missions in Ultra Unlocked is for a Farfetch'd. Lo and behold, I got a shiny Galarian Farfetch, and I'm like,
that's...
are you fucking kidding? Like, I thought that was dope.
Is this a band?
Yeah, I was like, is Niantic like psychically hearing my ass, like complaining?
They're like, fuck, he doesn't want to play for a hot second.
But at the same time, like, I love that mission where you are guaranteed like a shiny Eevee.
Absolutely.
There should be some guaranteed shinies in some of these. Again, obviously you lose some of the oomph of like, well, you didn't go hunt. Okay, some of these Pokemon have already been out for like a hot minute.
Okay, well, I did hunt. I just didn't hunt for what exactly I was looking for because I was hunting for whatever the quest is asking me to hunt for. So I did technically hunt, right?
In essence, yeah.
So the point is like, we talked about this in a previous episode, but the payoffs just aren't there.
No.
And they need to be.
And Niantic was shitty when they took out Heracross from the wild.
Yeah.
That was some bullshit. I was just like,
hey, by the way, here's a pink Heracross. Oh, okay.
Because anyone who was in like Florida or those areas where Heracross was probably like, oh my god, I know where I can go get him. And then they're like, surprise.
Yeah, I want to go to my favorite chicken shack in Florida real quick, catch a couple Heracross, get a nice little
alligator
lunch,
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then they're like, oh, by the way, you can only raid for them.
Yeah, I was like, what a cheap shot. Like, that was some bullshit. And that actually made me mad.
You know,
I'm just like,
funny is because I actually I don't see Tauros very much.
I see Tauros all the fucking time.
I don't hear.
Everywhere.
So I was wondering about that actually. I was like,
I see Tauros everywhere.
Did they just lift them in general? But anyway, point is,
Pokemon that they've lifted that just don't show anymore are fucking Spearow, Paris.
Would you have the quest for it or whatever?
There's no fucking quest for them.
No, not now. I'm saying like, inevitably it's like, go catch 15 Spearow. It's like, oh, where am I going to catch Spearow?
Well, and again, that's where I'm always like, when I'm sitting there getting slightly antsy about Pokemon, I literally have to call myself off that ledge and be like, they're going to do some random event where this is out. So like Heatmore and Durant, like we mentioned earlier, those are out now. They did another event for like in the just not too recent past or whatever, not too far back past, where they had Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. Those were Go Fest exclusives.
True.
Then all of a sudden they're out again. So like, I always have to simmer myself down and be like, look, like, I might not get this now. Do I feel like hunting now, or do I need to get some other shit done? And that's where, like, I don't mind some of the players who played for 5+ years giving themselves time because we got lots of other shit to do too. And I think about like, man, if I wasn't playing Pokemon, what I'd be doing? I was like probably getting a lot of other really good shit done.
I'd just be playing other video games.
Well, yeah, like, and there's other games
more social in a normal video game than I would be in the social-based Pokemon Go video game.
Like, and like when everyone did the protest on, I think it was like August 5th, it was kind of nice because I just drove to work calmly. I was just like, there's no like, hey, let me drive over here.
I was a little sad because I fucked up all my streaks. I didn't even open it.
Oh, they said like the people in the protest are like, don't miss your streaks. But
no,
don't do anything else.
I was sticking to my guns. I was like, I'm not even fucking opening it.
Nope, I got on. I checked my gift thing. I spun it one stop, but I didn't do shit else. And
shame.
But people had more serious ways to like protest. Like Richie was like, why don't we just protest a community day? And he's not wrong. Like if you just protested the community day, what are they gonna do? It's not like you can't talk to someone who didn't do community day and get it.
No.
But like the day of, like take that time for you. Don't spend money on the raid boxes or do that.
Yeah.
Just get your shiny within the first hour and then stop playing.
My only issue was I don't feel like consumer side protests work very well.
True. Unless it's like money.
But even then, it has to be substantial.
It has to be
like literally, if you have 5 million players on Pokemon Go daily or something like that, then 4.5 million of them don't log in that day. Like it has to be that kind of coordination where it's like an actual significant chunk of change or disruption in the normal wavelengths of whatever the corporation is doing. Because like you see the same thing with the horrible allegations that went with Activision Blizzard. Their workplaces are very terrible, and like that's a whole nother story I don't want to get into too much. But the point is like, essentially, me and my friends are like, hey, we're just not playing Activision Blizzard properties, which includes Call of Duty or like Diablo, World of Warcraft, all of those or whatever. But at the end of the day, you like look at it and it's like Activision Blizzard's going to do whatever they just normally do anyway. In order to get change to actually happen, there needs to be substantial disruption, and there needs to be like something that happens from the top down, not necessarily from the bottom up. Because essentially, what happens is instead of inciting change or whatever, you're hurting the people that are just working on it daily. You're hurting the devs. You're hurting the people that don't necessarily want you to boycott. What they do want you to do is they want you to go in and, like I said, you have to stick it to the higher ups, and like money is a decent way to do it, but I said it has to be a large chunk, it has to be a large thing. But it's like all the creators have been doing, like Pokemon Go Colorado has been doing, like calling out Niantic from the top down, hitting with the hashtag, sending out letters, like writing to them, etc., making content for, hey, we're displeased with what's happening.
Yeah,
this is what we want to change, and this is how we want it to change. Things like that. So anyway,
and on a local level, like I think a lot of it could be like, again, you could do your part. So like me, I'm like, I don't want to spend more money on the game than I really want to, because there's other things I want to prioritize. But the other thing is like getting the community back, getting like talking to people in the community was just fucking great. Even when you're talking with Banani, you're just passively playing the game. And I've gotten more people to join Pokemon Go just to be like, I have an old account, but it's just for us to do something like to go walkwise and be social together.
Yeah.
I think that's an element people need to get back to.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the roots of why you joined the game. And again, that doesn't necessarily put a lot of money into Niantic's pocket, but it's something for you to enjoy that's not dependent on you spending money on the game itself. It's just you just playing it.
Well, yeah, and again, like my favorite aspect of this isn't the game. Like I do love Pokemon naturally, and Pokemon Go is a nice little engine for what I really like to do, which is the community aspect. Being able to talk to Banani, being able to make friends with Zach and Herb and Jay, and like all of the leads that I miss very dearly. We had our happy hour not that long ago.
We need to.
We need to do that more. But either way, point is, Brian, shouts to you, shouts to everybody, really.
Yeah.
But like, I love the community being able to enjoy things, and like those are things we can meet up and do things outside of Pokemon now, because the social aspect of Pokemon Go brought us together. But what really kept us together is the community, not necessarily Pokemon Go. Now, Pokemon Go, like I said, is the engine for that. It's like the medium that we use.
It's a vehicle we used.
To help boast it. But essentially, it's all about what we've done as a community and being part of that. And that's, like you said, getting back to those roots, doing more things. Like, sure, it's nice to be able to catch Pokemon or raid with my friends, but there's bigger things in the community. Like, I like to do things for, one, giving back to the community. So, like, when we do our barbecue or whatever, but then also, like, giving back to the community that needs our help. So, like, anytime we've done fundraisers for charities or anything like that, it's been huge. And, like, how many thank you notes have you had on your fridge that's like, hey, thanks for our masters, or thanks for helping set this up. You've really actually impacted positively people's lives.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. Pokemon Go, like I said, it's our vehicle for it. It's an engine for it, a broken one that I wish I could see some updates to, and some things I want to see from the developer level down. But ultimately, like, sticking to the things that we're in it for. So, like, my thing's community.
And I know, like, right now, all I'm thinking about, because I do that, and I'm on other groups too, like leadership committee stuff, and it's one of those things where I'm like, we just got to start making our own stuff and not worrying about it. So it's like, I loved when we did the labs, and I want to get back to that. I know, like, I started Festival Plaza with competitions, and I'm like, I have been fucking slacking on doing competitions. So it's one of those things, like, obviously I have, like, the iPad, so I can design more stuff. I still need to be developing my skills there, but it's also like, I still have Photoshop, so I can still very much be like, here's an advertisement, here's this. It was funny going through, like, all my old files of, like, man, it's been a year since I've designed, like, an advertisement for this, but it was nice to get back into it, and, like, with pins. So, like, when we had the pins, I was like, oh shit. And you're like, we need a level 50 pin. I was like, yeah, this level 50 wasn't around when we started this. Like,
it was kind of fun to see our pins and be like, oh, we go all the way until February 2020.
Yeah, but
and then everything else after that is just a barren abyss.
It's just a wasteland.
It's like, oh,
but it was cool, because then I was able to go in and, like, re-download all those things. I was like, man, there were some pretty sweet pins. I wish I would have got.
So, with our last little tidbit here, I think that's the biggest thing is, like, maybe we just need to be the change that we want to see in the world, right? Like, we need to be the change.
You went there.
We need to be the change.
Oh my god.
For Pokemon Go, whether that's doing community-based events like labs, things like that. Maybe we make our own challenges. Like, hey, Pokemon Go wants you to be social. All right, here's our challenge. Within safe guidelines, go meet up, like I said, with another teammate, or here's a quest line for you to do, and I'll be the judge on how you.
We just got to get some good prizes, like.
Yeah, obviously there has to be incentives for people to want to do that, other than, like, all those idiots on after raid hours for telling us we need to do this or something like that. But I think, like, it could be fun, and like I said, I would be way more incentivized if there was an actual story, Pokemon Go related, where it's like, oh, you need to do this, and I understand, like, Willow has you, oh, we need to research this. There's rings that are in the sky. What is that about? You're like, oh, Hoopa? Like, okay, cool. Professor Willow, have you not seen the rest of Pokemon?
Yeah.
Really not.
Like, I feel like some of the need to be like, take a funny picture here, find Pokemon in a compromising position, and take a screenshot. Like, something fun, like, go over here, spin this many stops, showcase, like, you've done the 50 kilometers in a week, take a screenshot of it and provide it.
Yeah, maybe
like,
we just
something
do it like
of that nature, to where it's like,
obviously, like, we can, like, post up an overall generalization of it. Maybe we get community feedback where it's like, oh, okay, well, this worked, this didn't work, etc. But, like, essentially we just make our own story. It's like Goosebumps, like, make your own adventure.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, just make a PDF adventure and then they just fill it in.
And we can give you the option. It's like D&D, right? It's like, do you want to be Team Rocket? Well, here's your storyline. Do you want to be like?
Yeah, and, like, we'll give you and that could be something cool.
Yeah,
we
go
do, like,
beat the shit out of 10 kids.
Give them a special pin of, like, you're a Rocket now. Like, you are this. your official Aurora Masters rocket.
Like I said, we can figure it the fuck out. I'm just saying, but like the point is like that the onus could be on us to do it, because I don't think we're getting that from Niantic anytime soon or anything like that. But it gets back to, again, our community-based roots. We can use Pokemon Go as our vehicle for that, and obviously it'll be limited to whatever's in the game. Like, we can't just be like, hey, go catch 20 Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud. You know, or whatever.
Like, I've always hated those fucking missions, or like catch 10 dragon types. Like, I saw now, I think it was like Phil was like, where do I get the dragons? And it's just like Goomy.
The dragon store?
Goomy and Noibat. Like, that's pretty much the only boys that are out. Like,
and they're not easy.
They're not really out, or like.
But yeah, maybe, you know, maybe that's what we have to do. But
yeah,
either way, I mean, you know, I'm curious to see what Niantic has for this whole, like, oh, we're listening, in September, some kind of forum for us to be able to have this back and forth, because I want to see a lot of things updated in the game. I want to see, first of all, the main thing I really want to see is better communication between the devs and the players of the game. Because there seems to be some very muddy,
just like a
conversations, a very big disconnect. There's like, hey, we want to do this, but we also want to do this, and those things don't really meet. It just doesn't make sense to me half the time. And then the other part is, like I said, you actually have an opportunity where Pokemon Go is about the community. Won't you be part of that community? Like, and I know other communities handle things very differently. This is also a game that's on the global scale. Like, it's not just Aurora, Colorado, Aurora Masters having this. Like, it's not even just United States players. It's literally a global game, and they just don't want to be part of it.
I'm literally just thinking of like fun Aurora-based missions for October.
Well, yeah,
I like that. Like, it's like churning in my head right now. I'm like, I can make something.
Oh, you're talking about for All Hallows Eve or whatever?
Well, just for the whole month, because I fucking love October. Yeah. So like, I was just thinking about like Third Bridge. So like, one of the missions is like, take a picture of the ghost at Third Bridge, but like, no, don't actually go to Third Bridge. Take a picture of a ghost Pokemon on a bridge. Something fun.
Dress up.
But it like gets people to think about it. It's like, have you heard about Sand Creek and the massacre there? Find where Sand Creek is.
You're trying to just teach people about
Aurora, but also understand like this is in your area. Like, be aware of it. Like, do you know where? Like, do you know? Have you heard about the bomb shelter at Hinkley High School? Take a picture of a Pokemon at the Hinkley High School sign. Don't trespass. Just take a picture of it there. Like,
trespass slightly so you can get the picture
on the sidewalk. That's public property. Just take a picture of a Pokemon there.
Nobody wants to go to Hinkley High School.
I'm not saying that they want to. I'm just saying that there's something there. Like, little things like that would be dope. It's like Scary Terry on crack.
Yeah.
Like, just like explore those things. Like, find the zip line in Aurora and take a photo of it. And people are like, there's a zip line in Aurora. Like,
yeah, man, I was thinking just like something a little bit casual cosplay as your buddy Pokemon. You know, like it could
show
be like,
yourself.
Oh, my buddy Pokemon is Pikachu, so I just wear a trash bag. You know, it's like,
or pumpkin carving of your Pokemon.
Yeah, or something like that's what I was thinking. But I mean, you're going in deep. Okay, I like it. I mean, not that I dislike it. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of funny.
Or anyway, make a shot of your. Again, this would be the adult version.
The adult version is
like make a shot glass or make a new drink of your favorite Pokemon and what would be in your.
The unfortunate part about a Pokemon Go drinking game is like we can't really go much anywhere if we're drunk, because otherwise it'd be like take a shot for every Squovet you find in the wild.
Oh my god!
Something, you know,
you can still advocate
just like
for it.
Him
fucked.
We're just like trying to walk down the street publicly intoxicated. Don't do that, kids. It's very illegal.
I think something could happen like that, though.
I mean, obviously, the point is we have options that we're gonna have to do. Niantic's not doing it, and we can make it a lot more fun anyway. But you got anything else for us?
No,
Mr. JackJack 1620.
Again, just like be smart. Obviously, it's shitty that Niantic is silly, but they're making choices on their own, so it's whatevs for them. But again, you don't have to feed into the machine if you don't want to. Don't feel pressured. Don't let FOMO fucking grab you and choke you the fuck out. There'll always be shinies. There'll always be events where shinies that you think are short time or are limited will come back out. Again, if it's your favorite, hunt. Do what you fucking want to do, but don't feel fucking pressure to get every single thing because other people are making it a priority.
Yo, and I know we just spent like an hour almost like complaining about the game and everything like that.
Because we can.
True. But we only do that out of love. It's tough love, right?
Tough love. That's the only love I get.
And the problem is like we see it, like there's a lot of obvious potential. It's a terrible word to use, but like at the same time, like there's a lot of places this game could be.
Right. And again, it's not just us thinking this. Like this is us talking to fellow players and being like, what the fuck do you think's going on? And they're just like, dude, fuck this, or
what do you think's going on?
Shenanigans.
Like
there's a lot happening. Like I was glad at the people who showed, because obviously I would try to be respectful. I had my mask, I had my vaccine card, and my little like multi-pass thing. Like it was dope, and people were respectful of that.
Yeah.
There were some people like, I don't know. I'm like, hey, like different strokes for different folks, but again, just be fucking smart.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, anyway, I was gonna get at, like, I know we were complaining, but we do love the game. We love this community. We want to do more with that, so maybe we just do it ourselves.
Yeah, and if you have ideas for fun things, like shoot them out. Like
absolutely.
I think there's a lot of minds and awesome personalities that play this game. There's also some shitty ones, of course, but
you're gonna have it.
Like we heard one name that we haven't heard in like a year. Like I miss that person. I'm like,
she who must not be named. True.
But again, if you want to get involved, I think definitely speak up and try to get others involved. I know a lot of people have their little side discourses and like Facebook groups and everything that they have their own little individualistic communities. But if you want to go beyond that, like you gotta speak.
You don't have to.
But
we're not making. I don't know. We're not making you do anything. But
I'd like to hear.
I would highly encourage.
I would like to hear your voice.
Yo, we love you. Stay safe out there.
Yep.
And
it's almost fall.
It is almost fall. Also, post-nut clarity is a thing.
Sure.
So in case you're about to make a terrible decision, buying a car or whatever, make sure
beat your meat.
You're in the best mindset.
Stay focused.
Anyway, we love you. Bye.
Bye.